We're going to bring them back. We're going to bring them back. When in reality, those jobs, they're gone. Like, they're lying to their constituents on that side. You know, I'm happy to see the Harris campaign and also the Democrats actually step aside, because remember, even with Bernie Sanders, when that happened, and a lot of people wouldn't support him when he had kind of more of the youth vote and more of what they probably needed to push over the line. I think they're making some corrections. And also, Harris is going to also have the advantage that Hillary didn't, is when Hillary went into the ring, Trump for the first time was like doing things that no one had ever seen a politician do, that everybody was just, their jaws were dropped and they're like, what do I say? So I think Harris, being a former prosecutor, is going to do very well in the ring. I'm looking forward to the September 10th.
I think they've figured out the way to kind of get under his skin, and I think they're going to continue to do that, and they're going to push those buttons during the debate. So we're going to see some things from Trump, I think, that are maybe surprising. I don't know, but the convention atmosphere and the people there. The level of enthusiasm, and it was such a cross section of America. I mean, there were business people, there were store owners, there were farmers, there were ranchers, there were factory workers, union people, government employees. I mean, from teachers were really there being supported. So it really was amazing just seeing this whole cross section of people all coming together. And that's the thing that really happened that was so surprising, was how quickly Joe and Kamala were able to put together this coalition and bring everyone together. And to be fair, we hear a lot of complaints about nobody voted for her. That's usually the Republicans, because if you're a Democrat, we all know we voted for her because it was a package. It was a package deal of it's Biden and Harris, and so we always had Harris as our number two. So the fact that they, somebody thought it might be a good idea to have an open, primary week and just let people go at each other, I'm like, how incredibly stupid is that? We have somebody who is probably the most qualified woman ever to be president of anybody who could possibly be, being a local prosecutor, a state prosecutor, a U.S. senator, and vice president. I mean, that's some pretty heady stuff there. And I like to joke on the vice president side. I said, do you want somebody for vice president who reached the highest enlisted level in the state military of their state, who was a award-winning football coach, who spent 16 years in Congress, who has been elected governor and has actually run things? Or do you want the guy who doesn't know how to order donuts?
Oh my God.
I mean, for me, it's pretty simple on
that was so awkward.
And it's like, and Governor Walz, I mean,
not to use, I don't mean to use the trademark, that's not even my intention right now, but it was a weird moment. Dude,
Governor Walz.
Did you see the one where Tim, he goes in and I think he's somewhere, he's ordering something I think days later at some sort of.
Oh no, that's the thing I was going to tell you is that the Saturday before the convention, we had a rally for Walz here in Omaha.
Yeah.
Where it was less than 48 hours to put together, and we had in excess of 7,500 requests for a 2,500 seat venue. And we ended up with, about 3,000 or 4,000 overflow in the amphitheater outside. But when he got done, he had the motorcade stop at the Runza restaurant, which is a unique Nebraska chain. There's only, I think there's one maybe in in Iowa and one in Colorado. So it's a strictly a Nebraska product, and they make cabbage and beef sandwiches. Some people call them crop burgers,
That's why I
beer
couldn't tell
rocks.
what it was, because I saw the menu and I was like, I'm not sure what that is.
What is a runza? It's a meal
Yeah.
in a bunza. Okay, so I mean, and so if we're Nebraskan, we all know that, and it's like you got the frings, which is a order of onion rings and fries together.
Wait,
We
we
have.
need to bring Frings to Los Angeles, um, because that's
I would love to. What I would really love to do is bring Runza to L.A. because they are so unique and so good. But so he goes in, he knows what to do. He talks to the people. He gets his order. He gets back in the motorcade and is taking it back to Minnesota because the next day they're going on the bus tour in Pennsylvania. So his wife on Monday when we were talking to him, he goes. Well, Tim went down to the refrigerator to get ready to go to Texas or get ready to go to Pennsylvania. We were going to take them with us, and we discovered that our son ate all of them.
wow.
And so it's like, yes, I want somebody who knows how to live in the real world as opposed to somebody who's in this fictional world who has never worked at a useful job in their life, managing other people, supervising, being in charge of a business. He basically worked for a venture capitalist who then, moved to Ohio solely for the purpose of running for office. And Peter Thiel spent billions of dollars to get this guy put into the U.S. Senate, where he's been for 2 years. And now they want to make him one heartbeat away from the president of the United States, and nobody knows jack about him. No, I'm sorry. That's not a good idea.
Yeah. And it's weird because it feels like he's an ally. Like, don't quote me on this, but is he wearing guy liner?
He was friends with a trans individual at Yale Law School. They were like good friends, and he was involved. He's selling himself out for political power.
But like, I feel
I think he does. Yes, he
like,
has guy. I think it may.
listen. I allegedly used to wear eyeliner because when I tried to do my femininity before I transitioned, that looks like eyeliner on the lower lid. And I know eyeliner.
He may have permanent guy liner. I don't know. He may have gotten them tattooed or something. But yes, it looks like he is constantly wearing liner.
And clearly, we can't trust him around any couches, right? So like that's like a whole.
Well, that was a whole made-up thing, but it was a good made-up one. Now,
listen, if they had to fact check it, though, like
okay. We went to the book. Okay, well, it was the first edition of the book. No, here's the first. No, it's not in there. But what did the right do to counteract that for the same type thing? Is a fake newspaper article about Tim Walz going to the hospital for drinking too much horse semen. I mean,
wait, what?
You haven't seen that one? Oh no, there's all kinds of folks on Twitter calling Tim Walz a cum drinker, drinking horse cum.
Well, I mean, oh my God, I've been to the Folsom Street Fair, so I mean...
and so I'm at least thinking, Vance fucking a couch is within the realm of possibility.
I'm just saying, like, it sounds like they're an ally, and the thing is like, I feel like I said this in an episode so long ago before a lot of folks were saying this, but I was talking about Project 2025. I don't remember where I said it. I've been still trying to look for the content. I don't know if it was this episode or on this season or like some other show, but I heard about Project 2025, and like, that's basically a plan to overthrow the government. How is this even legal to exist? Because like, isn't there section code? I forget the number, but like, they're literally like breaking federal law by like even conspiring to do this because they're like, I think you might know that better than I would, but like,
it's, I mean, you can advocate for changes in government and eliminating government services, government projects. There's nothing that says, that we have to have a Department of Education. For God's sakes, it didn't exist until, I think Nixon put it in. EPA didn't exist until, Nixon put it in. And so, you could do these things. So talking about eliminating things like that is, not necessarily treasonous, but the effect that
some
it
of the
would
other
have. Oh my
things though that
god!
they're talking about, I mean, again, this might be my TikTok rabbit hole, and that's why I'd love to get it clarified, because there's probably other people that are down this rabbit hole themselves. But like, from my understanding, like, again, Project 2025 is basically like conspiring to rip down the entire government, put in loyal lists to Trump only, and rip down any department that is considered woke, like the education, etc., etc. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, but
is
we
it
as
treasonous, or I don't know. I mean,
yeah, well, no, I mean, look, it is a crazy ass plan to
yeah,
yes, but advocating for removal of a government agency or service, nothing is inherently, wrong about that necessarily. People have, opposed the Department of Education from day one, and but it still continues to exist. But it's an existence of legislation and executive action. Legislation can change that. You can't universally just get rid of it because it's authorized by Congress. You would have to take over Congress. It'd have to be an act of Congress to eliminate whatever ones